I am Jazzy, the Uncontrolled Goddess. Welcome to the Have You Met series presented to you by the Underground Music Collective. This evening, I have the opportunity to, I'm going to say, have a conversation with three amazing artists and creatives. So, our first guest for the evening is Lord Goldie. So, welcome.
Hello.
So, I'm going to jump straight in.
Okay.
They say there's something to the name. So, Uncontrolled Goddess, there's intention behind my name. Please
Right.
explain how you came to become Lord Goldie.
So around 2017, um, I cut my hair when I was locked up. Right. I always had long hair, but I cut it up when I was locked up. So when I came home, like it's about 6 years later, I um my stylist was like, "You should go blonde." And so I was like, "All right." So I tried it out. So I dyed my hair blonde. It was short, curls. Um, and one day we was at the studio, underground studio, the first black-owned studio on Music Row. Just had to shout them out real
Yes,
quick.
yes, nice.
Yeah, I mean, shout out Track Burners. We was in there joking, per usual. And are you familiar with the movie Meteor Man?
I'm not.
So Robert Townsend, shout out to Robert Townsend. Is one of the black. Um, he was like a director, filmmaker, screenwriter. He did everything for this joint. And for him to do this in the '90s, and him and like Spike Lee and like the Wayans family being like the top 5 people doing the thing back then, like Meteor Man is like a cult classic.
Okay.
And they had the villains in the group were called the Golden Lords, and they wore black and their hair was blonde. So, my homeboy at track, he was like, "You should change your name to Golden Lord, Lord Goldie." And I was like, "You know what? I like that." And so it kind of stuck, you know what I'm saying? And so one of my nicknames is Pimp. So a lot of people tie Goldie in with the movie The Mac, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, just a little bit of everything up in there. But the branding and the imaging comes from Meteor Man, the Golden Lords.
Okay, but you said they were villains.
Yeah. I'm from the Ville.
That's interesting though. But when I think villain, I think of negative entity. However, you
Yeah.
are very more so on the positive level.
Mm-hmm.
So can you explain how you went into the Healerz aspect? Because I like that. That was very different.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've heard of conscious rap, but someone to have solely focused in hip hop on healing itself. So I think that's dope. Can you tell me how you ventured into that?
Yeah, so I always call my music trap conscious. Trap music with a meaning, you know what I'm saying? Which means, I've been there, done that, but little nigga, it's another way. It's another route. Because we get the music, we hear everything, the glitz and the glamour, we listen and hear some of the struggles, but we don't always hear people keeping it all the way real, like this ain't it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's a trap. That's what it is. Because you're going to get trapped one or two ways, death or in jail. Now, it's a small percentage that make it out, right? So, coming to know Foundation Mecca and realizing that, Hill Hop is a thing, you know what I'm saying, because he's one of the creators, we always talked about doing a record together.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And so we just came up with the Healerz, you know what I mean, for the Hill Hop movement. And we both were in our healing journey together. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Even, when 2020 came, I feel like it was a pivotal moment for the world. Right. Like, everybody kind of went in because you couldn't go outside. You know what I mean? So we started hiking together, going on retreats. And it's not, like, intentional. This is just stuff we doing in the group with Joe and Jaffe and, everybody that you see around us today.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so we just felt like that's where we at in life, and hey, let's get together and make this a thing. And so Healing It came to be our first song, and so we just kept on pushing and trying to build the brand, and letting the world know this is where we at and this is what hip hop needs, because everybody tired of the bullshit.
We are tired of the bullshit.
Everybody tired of the bullshit. Like, it's a lot of healing that need to be like had in all these situations that we see, like all these celebrities go through some bullshit, and it's like, and they acting out, lashing out, some people behind it, some people not. But the real shit is, like, you just need to heal your behaviors, man. You need to heal you. You need to get into a better place so you can start doing better things. And some people be stuck in that situation because that's what they used to, but they don't want to grow from that. And that's just the messaging that we putting behind it. Like, you don't have to stay where you at. If you want something better for yourself, you got to do something better for yourself.
Absolutely. So
you either going to go on this journey or you're going to keep doing the same things, causing insanity,
Yeah. And healing is a lifetime journey.
Oh, yeah, it don't
forever
stop.
and ever.
Yeah.
Because every day we could be traumatized and triggered by something. So throughout your healing journey, what is something that you are still fully working on as far as getting to that inner space?
Me. Me. I applaud myself for getting into a better position, mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally. But it's still a continuous journey. You know what I'm saying? I lost multiple family members last year, so that's another journey to start.
Right.
And that's a journey to start with each individual, because you had different relationships with different people.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And then outside the family, lost some friends too. So it's a consistent journey. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna always be in therapy probably. So, and I'm cool with it. You know what I'm saying? Because talking to somebody and really being vulnerable about what's going on with me, it drains me. But at the end of it, I feel, well, after I take a nap or something, I feel so much better. Yeah. Because I want to be the best person I can be. I want to fulfill my purpose. And you can't be in alignment with your purpose if you don't get yourself aligned.
True story.
Yeah.
So do you write about any grief that you have experienced? Is that something that you incorporate into your music?
Yeah. I got a song called Larry's Rain that I wrote about my dad. I lost my dad when I was 14. And it was just a letter to him. You know what I'm saying? I lost my grandma, my mom's mom, in 2018. She died the same day Aretha Franklin died. And so I wrote a song called Kathleen, you know what I'm saying, dedicated to her. I got a song called You Ain't Shit, dedicated to all the people in the life that wasn't shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that the pen is my journey. My journal. So, yeah.
That's dope. And I always tell people, like, journaling is a part of our journey. So I like how you just framed that. So what is next for Lord Goldie, for the Healerz? You have something amazing going on tomorrow. Can you share that with us?
Yeah. So shout out to the National Museum of African American Music and Soul. They're doing a beautiful event putting on for the locals for Black Music Month. So the Healerz will be in the building.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Do a 5-minute set, in and out. First time we're going to be doing a show at the African American Museum. So that's going to be dope. So that's next for us. And then, we got some new music coming. We got 2 episodes left for season 1 of the podcast of the Healer Circle. We got another Hill Talk experience that we just recorded. So we got to edit that and put that out. As for me, man, got this A&R journey I'm on. I just released Lick for Pride, you know what I'm saying? One of the biggest songs I ever released. Shout out to God, because I mean, I didn't do no backing behind it. It's like 300 and something thousand streams now.
Beautiful.
You know what I'm
Congratulations.
saying?
Yes.
And, you know, I was just having this conversation with Gambino. I was like, shit, it's damn near gold if you counted it as old shit, you know what I'm saying?
Lord Goldie.
Yeah, you feel me? But it ain't the same no more, you know? Rodney Jerkins said, shoot, a billion streams can't even pay 2 months of rent. So that's trash.
Right.
But yeah, so I shot the video for that just because the song was going up. So y'all can watch that in my bio for $1. For 30 days, might go up after that. Shoot, man, doing the Soil Soldiers thing with Recycle Reinvest, teaching the kids about sustainability and teaching them how to, plant trees and stuff like that. They get paid at the end of the program. Man, and just trying to do some music and do other things. I'm curating some shows, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot going on with Goldie.
Yes, all of that is amazing, and I celebrate and support that. So can you quickly just give us your social media handles so everyone can follow you?
Yeah, you can follow me everywhere, Lord Goldie 615. You can follow the Healerz everywhere, the Healerz 615, DAHEALERZ 615. And that's everywhere, streaming everywhere.
All right. Well, Lord Goldie, has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, beautiful.
Appreciate
you.
My pleasure.
No.
My pleasure.
Oh, I hit the mic.
My pleasure. Have you met? Yes. So you all have met Lord Goldie. So coming up next is Brother Dusty. Welcome, Brother Dusty. Listen.
Hello.
Welcome, Brother Dusty.
How we doing?
All is well.
I see you so many times. I went to not knowing you to seeing you 3 times a week everywhere I go.
Hey, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So, but still, we see each other quite often, but we hadn't officially met.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to start with the same question because there is such meaning in names that we own for ourselves. Where did Brother Dusty come from?
There's a few degrees to it. Honestly, the short version of the story is I dated a girl probably over 10 years ago, and she said my old youth pastor's name was Brother Dusty. and I just thought that was hilarious, and I changed it to my Twitter handle. And then when I started like putting music out and stuff, I was like, my actual name is Dustin McKee, and I just feel like there is zero potential for artistry in a name like that. It just sounds like a cubicle worker or something. You know what? It just does. It sounds like anything but an artist, you know? So I thought Brother Dusty was kind of funny because it's got like this sort of like churchy undertone, but it's also got like sort of a funkadelic, like rock and roll type of like style pizzazz to it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I did grow up. I would say like the majority of my family is all either preachers or church musicians.
Really?
So, and I've never really like been super close to that. I've been in and out of it and had to discover those things for myself, but I do think naturally, like coming from a long line of preachers, I tend to like be that dude in the room who starts getting like a little preachy sometimes and going off on really deep tangents and stuff. So I think it just sort of fit me. It was either Sir Dusty or Brother Dusty. Okay. I felt like Sir Dusty was just too serious, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I love the Brother Dusty.
Yeah.
It is, and it's
very
catchy.
family and familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very catchy. So I do know that you are not originally from Tennessee. Can you tell me a little bit about your journey, how you got here?
I am from a place called Kokomo, Indiana, and I came up and grew up in that area to the point where I was in my 20s, and my dad had wanted to move to Nashville my entire childhood, and my mom and myself, like, we were just so attached to my friends in school and everything that we had, and we didn't really understand it. As a younger kid, I didn't really understand like music the way that my dad did, you know what I mean? And it wasn't until I was older and I had graduated where he finally was able to move down here, and I came to visit him once, and by this point I actually was a musician, and I came down here and I went on Broadway, which I'm so over Broadway now, but before I moved here, I went down there and I just saw like this Disney World of a musical paradise of like, man, you can be a full-time musician and like make a full career out of like playing your instrument and like playing for audiences and stuff. And I thought it was so cool that I came back to Indiana and was like, yo, like I'm gonna do this. And I actually convinced over the next 2 years like 10 people from my hometown to also move here. Yeah.
Oh,
And at this point, I don't have much to do with a lot of it, but there's probably at least 30 people from my hometown that are all down here now.
Nice.
I'll make personal claim to maybe like 5 to 10 of them.
Nice.
You know what I mean? But it just started branching out, and then a bunch of people started moving here. So
That's dope.
it was. I was actually a teacher back in Indiana. I was a music teacher. Yeah, I was a drumline instructor. And I worked at like 3 high schools and some middle schools and a private academy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at me now.
I would have never guessed any of this.
Yeah.
Just to be,
No.
I mean, from the name to the background to the teaching,
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Well, after I quit teaching, it was like I don't ever need to look like a professional Midwesterner ever again. Like I moved pretty serious about making music and performing like the rest of my life.
Right.
So I let go of all professional tendencies and just I had a buddy like last year sometime. He was like, man, if you get tattoos on your fingers, you're basically just like never gonna get a real job ever again. And I was like, bet. All right.
So you got tattoos
So I
on your
immediately got
fingers.
tattoos on my fingers. It's like, okay, this is real, you know.
Right. It's almost like it solidifies.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I can't go back.
Right, like
Yeah.
like there's no plan
Yeah.
B. Like this is
Mhm.
it.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's dope. That's
Thanks.
dope. So now I actually had the honor and pleasure to perform with you playing
Yeah.
your. So, what all instruments do you play?
I started off on drums. My dad was a bass guitarist, and he always wanted me to take after him, and it took me a while. But I started on drums when I was like 11, and then I picked up the bass when I was like 16. I joined choir not very seriously my senior year of high school. And then shortly after that, sometime in college, I took a guitar class, and I picked up like acoustic guitar. So like, this is Nashville, Tennessee. I would not tell anyone that I'm a guitar player, like to hire. Like, don't ever hire me to play guitar for your music, but like I can write my own music on guitar. You know what I mean? Like I'll play for me, but hire literally anyone else other than me if you want a guitar player in your band, you know? And then I have a banjo. I wouldn't say I can play it. I can fiddle around, and I can probably play like 2 to 3 half songs. You know, that's something I kind of work on. But at this point, I'm just so spread thin that it's really hard to manage all of it. And I'm also like kind of a booking agent. I've been a musical journalist. Like I said, a teacher. I've been a music video director. So it's like you come up with all these skills, and it sounds really cool on paper, but at the end of the day, if you really want to go far in something and you're doing 10 things at once, it's really hard to do anything right. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like things like banjo, or I was even talking to Kelsey the other day about like engineering my own music, and it's like I could take a class. I could learn how to do that myself, but like it's too much. Like
Right.
I'm
Right.
already like a jack of all trades and like medium good at like 10 things. Like I want to be great at something, you know what I mean? And if I pick up another skill versus just hiring someone who's already really, really good and like loves engineering, you know what I
Right.
mean? So I feel the same with the banjo and even the guitar. It's like I can write a song on a guitar, but I'm not going to play guitar unless like I have to, or the part's really easy, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? But yeah, drums primary, bass, and then this year I actually got that upright bass that when we performed together.
Oh, okay.
I just got that this year. I have a little bit of experience in the past playing that, but for the most part, like I've just been picking that up and just now been getting good at it. And it's funny because I keep feeling like I'm getting better, but then I'll go to an actual jazz night or like an open night, like open mic where a bunch of like actual jazz players, and it's like I get humbled so quick. It's like I thought I was getting better. I thought I was like graduating and getting to like, you know, senior year, and it's like I'm maybe third grade.
Still got
You know,
work to
it's
do.
funny.
Still got work
Yeah,
to do. But
exactly.
that's all. You do very well. I would have never known that.
Oh,
So
thanks.
all of these instruments, everything that you have your hands into with the music, do you actually consider yourself under a certain genre, or how would you describe your sound?
Oh man, that's just such a tricky. I have the same problem playing too many instruments and being medium good at too many skill sets. And the capacity of picking a genre.
Okay.
It's the same thing. I mean, I would consider myself a rock musician. I've played in the rock scene since I've been here. I've played a couple country gigs. Like right now, what I'm working on is like a rock album. But and you know, Gerard's actually like helped me like put a lot of my stuff out in the past few years. A lot of my rock music is too rap for rock, and it's too rock for rap. And it's more so like rather than singing, I just like being really like rhythmic with my vocals. And it's like I would never ever say that I'm a rapper. Like
Right.
a rapper is a rapper. I'm a rock musician, and I like rhythmic vocals, you know.
Nice.
But then when I pick my guitar up, it tends to be more of like a folk, country, blues, bluegrass type of thing. And then being classically trained, like I've done a lot of like composing work and arranging, and so like a lot of my music now is like I'm composing like with strings and, you know, classical percussion like timpani and big orchestral cymbals and stuff like that. So as much as I want to be like a rock musician, I feel like I dabble in a little bit of everything, and I try
Right.
to keep like the rock and roll energy as my like brand. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And at the same time, you definitely don't want to box yourself in
Exactly.
into something.
Yeah.
So no.
I think
get
that's what
that.
rock and roll is about too, is
Yeah.
rebelling against boxes and standards, which in today's age, a lot of people think rock and roll is like, you know, adapting to what it was in the 60s and the 70s and following those rules. And I'm just like, I feel like you're missing the point, bro. I feel like you're the opposite of right, you know, like
Right.
rock is more about breaking rules than following rules. So I feel like in a way doing all these things is sort of like epitomizing like rock, you know what I mean?
Okay. Okay. So just curious, like your band,
Yeah.
like, is that how you pick the artists to work with you? Do they have to be multi-skilled as well?
They don't have to. Basically, like with what you're talking about, I met a guy who had heard my music and he played trombone, but I found out he played banjo, and I was like, you know, I'd love for you to play banjo on some of my songs, but it's kind of pointless because I don't need banjo on every song.
Right.
So maybe you can play, maybe you can play trombone for a couple. And then that still didn't fit, and it was like, well, you do harmonica too? Okay, well, go ahead and do that. And next thing I know, you know, now he's doing synthesizer. He's one of my engineers.
Nice.
If my bass player can't make it, he subs in on bass. We might even have him playing guitar for a couple gigs. And that's Lenny. And then I've got a couple other people that I don't need them all the time to play the specific instrument that they're the best at. So, like, I've got a bass player who plays percussion when I play bass. And then I've
Okay.
got a trumpet player who I bought him a fiddle because I can't find a dedicated fiddle player. So I was like, you just learn, and in 2 years, you'll be good enough, you know? And we're going to set up a synthesizer, and anyone who doesn't have something to do at the show can just go press buttons on the synth, you know? But for the most part, no, I am looking for, like, specialists, like a guitar player. But with having so many people and such a wide variety of different kinds of music, it does really help to have someone like Lenny who can play banjo on these types of songs, and then trombone on these types of songs, and then harmonica on the other songs.
Right.
And then if I can't figure out anything else to do, just throw them on the keyboard, you know?
It works itself out.
Yeah.
So with all of that, and I know you have something amazing to share at the show for next month. Can you tell us
Yeah.
about that, and then also your social media handle so everyone
Okay.
can follow you?
Yeah, I put a single out at the beginning of the year just to drop it, and I didn't really promote it too much because I was waiting on actually getting like a business plan together. So this is gonna be the official release show now that the band's ready.
Yeah.
We're gonna drop the music video. I'm gonna re-release the single, and I basically am throwing a premiere party at the Underdog where we filmed the video. So you're going to be watching a video in the Underdog of the Underdog, and then I'm going to come out and reenact the video at the Underdog. It's going to be a trip. And And then I've got, because like I said, my music sort of goes everywhere. I got a country band, a rock band, and then I got Frederick basically doing what we do on Monday Night Jazz. He's going to come and be like the after party. So we're going to get a lot of those rappers that come through the Monday Night Jazz thing. We're going to have them come up and do a couple songs. You're going to come up, as you know, hopefully. I'm glad you can make it because it's so late and it's a weeknight, and I was sort of worried about that. But it's basically going to start off with a country band and then go into a rock band, and then I'm going to do a little bit of everything, and then we're going to bring Frederick up, and he's going to play the end of my set, and then we're going to get off the stage, and Frederick's going to begin his set. So
that's amazing. I love how you bring it all of the arts together.
It's also my birthday party, by the way.
Yes, thank you for that, because I was getting ready to shout that out. All right, and please provide your social media handles.
Brother Dusty everywhere. Should be Brother Dusty. Mainly Instagram and YouTube is where it's at. I don't really mess with Facebook or Twitter or anything like that.
Okay.
It's hard. It's a lot. It's a lot of stuff, you know.
That's fair.
But yeah, Brother Dusty everywhere.
That's fair. It has been a pleasure. Now I feel like I know you somewhat. We get. I know you. So, Brother Dusty, and have you met? Thank you, Brother Dusty.
Thank
it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. All right. So next up on Have You Met is Mr. Adams. Can you join me, please? How you doing, brother? Good to see you. So,
This couch is comfortable.
it is comfortable. It's very comfortable. Yeah. So, same question to start with the name. So, I know you go by several names, but what I really have been really curious about is the by the way.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
So, so the name Mr. Adams, by the way, came from being an independent artist and just how much you actually have to introduce yourself to people. And so it ended up being like, my name is Mr. Adams, but I was like, okay, what can I put on the end that would have some snap to it, but it'll make sense? So you'd be like, who are you? Oh, I'm Mr. Adams, by the way. That's how it came about. And then I just kind of took the BTW. I wanted it to have some meaning other than just by the way. So it stands for blessed, talented, wealthy.
Nice.
And we're not talking about like money. I mean, we're talking money, but it's mostly like life experiences, family, success, that type of deal. And then the money comes along with that.
It does.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you.
I'm like, by the way, but that is catchy.
See?
And to me, when I hear it, it's almost like you're calling authority, like you're solidifying you as Mr. Adams.
For sure.
That's dope. That's
For
dope.
sure.
So I know you have a long history, luxurious history in the hip hop and the rap game. Can you tell us where you began up until where you are now?
Sure. Began would be in Chicago on the South Side doing talent shows as a shorty, with my cousins, dancing and, down my heart, all that good stuff. Ended up moving down here with my mom's, and my uncle had a studio because he was in the music industry at that point. He just put me in there one day and was like, go. So I just started freestyling. Keep in mind, I love LL Cool J at this time, still love him to this day. And, I'm standing on my mom's, bed doing I'm Bad and all that. So apparently, man, when I did that first song, man, it came out. This is a talent I didn't know I had. My family is musically inclined, but it just came out in that day. Right. The song was called On a Mission, and that's where the mission started.
And you've been on a mission.
Yeah. So fast forward, I'm here doing, middle school stuff. I'm in talent shows in middle school too. Saying, we're releasing music in high school with a group. Got a lot of buzz from that. And then I used to do music with this guy named Ice Cold J. Cool dude. He told me a lot about the music industry as far as like what the people need to see.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? In order to stand out. And I really started finding my sound when I got around him, when I got around Matic Lee. If y'all don't know Matic Lee, y'all need to Google that, man. He's produced a lot of hits for Tech Nine and a bunch of other people, David Sanders. Just got in the basement with them, literally in the basement, and then OG the 3, just got in the basement with them cats, and, I'm coming to the studio like, this is dope. That's trash. No, it ain't. I'm in my feelings as an artist. No, it ain't. This is trash. and they sit down and show me how to write a song.
Nice.
You know, so I took that, all those lessons I was learning, came out with my own album, then till now, and just kind of took off from there. And went to school, learned how to be an engineer so I could learn how to record, mix, and master my own stuff and release it. So I've had some successful releases. I've had some duds. I was able to travel with the music as far as like the SEA Awards, South by Southwest a few times as far as performing on stages, the A3C, performing on stage there. Been on the BET Awards. I mean, not the BET Awards, but I've been on BET.
Nice.
They had this show called My One Shot, which is where, you know, you go down, you stand in the line for 8 hours just to stand in front of 4 judges and spit your verse. And I did great the first day. Came prepared in my Mr. Adams outfit, you know, because it's to the T normally, you know what I'm saying, the outfit. But it was raining that day. Next day came around, I decided to put on just a regular Mr. Adams t-shirt, and they didn't see the connection anymore. So fast forward that,
Okay.
I'm still releasing music. I'm still performing. I've performed in just about every venue here in the city, just about. Haven't got the Bridgestone just yet, but and I'm making a name for myself. You know what I mean? Like to the point to where like when I'm going out, people are recognizing me, people are commending me, people are telling me they've listened to my music and it got me through something. That whole deal. So again, fast forward. Ended up meeting Joseph and the company Ether through my sister's brother, who happens to be his best friend. I'm here with them, and we're actually here, you know, kicking it one day. You know, I'm not in the best of place at this time. Like I'm not in the best of place mentally, and you know, depressed or whatnot. And he's just like, man, well, what you want to do next? I'm like, I don't know. I'm an artist. You know, I'm an artist. You know, that's what I am to the core. And he was like, well, what else? So I told him about this idea I had for the show called Mobile Melody, which is all about bringing back that feeling of riding in the car with your homies, listening to dope music, and having in-depth conversations.
Yes.
So fast forward that, we are, 3 years in, 2 seasons down, starting season 3 here shortly.
Congratulations.
I've also been blessed enough, and, you know, my business partner Joseph has the confidence in me to have me head of the A&R camp for our co-op we have called Ether. And so, you know, it's been a journey. It's still going, but yeah, that's what it's been so far.
Yeah. So if there was a new artist that you would sit down with today, like what could be some valuable lessons that you've learned that you can share with them and hope for them to avoid?
Get around the right people and understand that you can't do it all yourself.
Okay.
Like for real, that would kind of be the biggest thing that I could tell you, man. Like there's a lot you can do by yourself, but there's so much more you can't do by yourself. Stay true to who you are, what you believe in, and what your music stands for, regardless of the situation.
Okay.
I would tell them, don't overthink it. We, as artists and just people who are creatives, tend to overthink a lot, and it's really not necessary.
All right.
It's just the fear of doing something different, but you only feel it because you're doing something different. That doesn't make it bad. And even with Brother Dusty, like, bro, you're gonna be a very rich man here, dog. Like, you got something. Like, I know you were talking about the eras, like what's your genre be. I don't look at you and think like genre. I think eras, bro. Like, if I had to be real with you, I think like Guns N' Roses, Cadillac Records, and Nirvana, and a small little bit of punk in there somewhere, bro. You know. So yeah, no doubt, no doubt. But yeah, man, those would be some key things I would say. But of course, it all just depends on where that artist is in their journey, you know, as far as where I can come in and be a mentor or a partner with them, you know, that type of deal.
Okay, nice. And I received that as well. So you mentioned, I don't believe in necessarily, I believe in synchronicity. So you said the BET Awards, so that could be a major possibility. Then you also said Bridgestone. So do you have any like long-term goals that you see yourself, places, spaces?
Business-wise, I really do have a passion for what we are doing at Ether, man, and with UMC. Like, I have gone through the gauntlet of being an independent artist, especially coming out of Nashville, and I know for a fact that there are so many potholes that you hit along the way that you don't necessarily have to. But of course, you're not going to know that because that's how the industry gets a lot of money out of you.
Right.
Anyway,
Right.
I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent. Say that one more
All
time.
good.
Sorry.
It's all good. No,
Went
we
off on a
gonna let it
quick
flow. You need to release that. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah, but I'm really passionate about the work we're doing with the at the A&R department, and I want to be the place where these major labels who are here in Nashville send their artists to get developed. Like, that's the thing. Major labels don't develop artists anymore. They just sign you for whatever you got going on right now, and then you out the door. In most situations, I'm not gonna say that because everybody's situation is different, but for the most part, it's a factory.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We want to be the buffer between that. That way, artists can actually come out here, do something that they're passionate about, and be able to feed their family with it and have a long career. Because in my eyes, if the artist has a long career, then that means the label has an artist that has a long career. So aren't we both eating here? So.
Do you talk about that on your podcast? Like, what are some of the things that you talk about on Mobile Melody?
To be honest, I really try to cater Mobile Melody around the city and the artist and the person that I'm speaking to, because the city has so many different people who do so many different things, and everybody has a different story. I make it a point to have them take me to 3 different locations that were pivotal in putting them where they are in their career. So say, for example, if there was a show you did and you sold out, your first sold out show, let's go to that stage.
That's
You
dope.
know, that studio, or this is where I wrote my single when I'm in front of my girlfriend's house and I wrote my single and she broke my heart. Okay, let's stop there for a second, as long as we ain't stalking nobody. And, you know, let's do part of the interview there. But,
That's dope.
yeah, I want to tell the story of this city the right way, the story that isn't being told. And that's really what Mobile Melody is at the core.
That's dope. I love that. Now, I recently saw you at 615 Day,
Yeah.
and you were hosting. Like, is that something that you do, or what did that? Because that was dope. Like, the energy that you brought to that stage to represent the artist was dope. Like, I was very impacted by your energy.
Is it something that I do? There's something I have. I want to start getting into.
Okay.
But what I
Okay.
actually do is I command the stage when I get on it, and that comes
Yes.
from being an actual artist and really loving and enjoying what I do on stage.
Yes.
But to answer your question, yes, I would love to. Book me. Holla at me.
Yes, please book him. The energy he brought was it was amazing.
Thank you.
Well, I do appreciate you repping 615. I did not know that you were from Southside Chicago. I'm
I'm
from
talking about?
Southside Chicago. I did not know that.
Hey,
So
right
thank
off
you
Halsted.
for thank you for 63rd and Sealy. Thank you for
Yeah.
representing 615. That's pretty dope. So do you have anything upcoming that you want to share? Any what we got going on?
Like I said, we're shooting in season 3, which is going to be surrounded around the female artist here in Nashville. I was saying female MCs, but we're going to say female artists, so that's what it's going to be centered around for season 3.
Okay.
Any artist out there that's interested in actually shooting an episode of Mobile Melody, just go to the Instagram page. There's a link tree. There's a whole form you can fill out. You can give us some details, and we can actually go ahead and get to work on that. But work within Ether, work with UMC. I mean, that's a constant thing. Like, we're in the business of creating a better avenue for artists here in Nashville. So if you have something going on, like, come talk to us, man. You never know. It could be beneficial on both ends. So
Absolutely. We appreciate that. All right. And can you please provide your social media handles so they can know how to connect with you?
yes, it is Mr. AdamsBTW, MrAdamsBTW. Or, I said W, you can tell I'm country now, right? But or you can go to the Mobile Melody Show, spelled just like it sounds. That's the website. That's all the social media. Tap in.
Tap in. You heard the man. Tap in. Mr. Adams, by the way. Thank you so much. Thank you. Pleasure. So at this point, we are going to open up for some questions and answers from our artists and creatives. So Mr. Adams, by the way, and Brother Dusty, do you mind both joining me back on the couch, please? See if we got some questions.
So, first thing is, Jazzy, the Queen of Vibes says hi and hopes that you get the interview too.
Oh, my pleasure. Queen of Vibes. Thank you. Shout out to Queen of Vibes. She is one of my producers. She is working with me on my EP that will be released in September for my born day. So thank you, Queen of Vibes. Thank you.
We also have a shout out to Mr. Adams in the chat as well.
Yes, Mr. Adams. By the way.
Appreciate you.
I have a question, and all three are welcome to answer this. Jazzy, you too.
Okay.
What's the most important lesson that you've learned on your creative journey that you would go back and teach yourself, your younger self?
Okay.
So, and you guys can pass the mic if as appropriate too.
You know what? My younger self, I've done a complete rebirth. Literally, I've went through an evolution of self, like literally. So growing up, I was very shy and timid. I did not break out out of my shell until I was 31. So my first open mic with my poetry, I was 31 years old. And then from that point, I seen the impact that I had on the audience. So I will go back and tell my younger self not to be afraid of life, afraid of your gifts. You know, it's okay to speak up. It's okay. Because I've always written poetry. I was just too terrified to share it. So I would just tell my younger self, like, the world needs you. Like, you have something to say. Like, you are literally out here healing people with your words. And that's needed and that's important. So thank you. Great question. Thank
You got yours?
you.
Yeah.
Trying to think, Brother Dusty.
All right, yeah, I got mine.
I would say I would have to piggyback what Jazz was saying. Like, in all honesty, I would tell myself, patience is good, but releasing that music is much better. That's what I would tell myself.
Mine's actually a little bit more jaded. I've worked in a lot of teams, and I have also had some rebirths, and that's kind of where I'm at now as a solo project. I've been in a lot of bands, and there's been a lot of times where my team doesn't want it as bad as I do, and so the good friend in me has overcome the businessman in me, and I have subsided my career to be more brotherly to people who, at the end of the day, not to play the blame game and point fingers, but it's like I wonder how much farther I would be now in my life if I wouldn't have put my friendship as so much of a priority over like really focusing on where I wanted to go. You know what I mean? And it's really bit me a lot. Because what happens is when someone doesn't want it as bad as you, and then the whole thing crumbles. Now, like I don't even. It's so hard to get into, but it's like you become the villain. Like when the whole time you were providing for these people and you were putting in all the work so where they could get paid. Once it falls apart, now you were the problem the whole time, and you're the reason, and like it just turns into such a terrible. So it's like going back, telling my younger self, I would reiterate. I had so many people say, get away from your friends, stop working with your friends. We get that you love those people, but they're gonna hold you back, and you're gonna find out the hard way, and it's gonna bite you. It's gonna turn around and just like crush you. And I was like, no, man, those are my bros. And it happened, and then it happened again. And it's literally happened several times now, and it's taken me so long to learn my lesson. And now I'm just a solo artist because it's like, you can be in my photos and my videos, but like you're not going to be on my contract. You're not going to be part of the decision-making process. It's got nothing to do with anybody personally. It's just like I have to put that armor on and never make that mistake again. You know what I mean? So I would love to go back and tell my younger self, hey, man, get away from those people and listen. And if you can feel that they don't want to work as hard as you, get away from them now. Don't wait until it explodes in your face. Go do something better now. You know.
Look, Brother Dusty, that's the whole sermon.
I have a follow-up. So for everybody, what do you look for in somebody that you might add to your team or somebody you will collaborate with? Learning what you've learned, knowing what you know about the creative journey and how the industry works and what doesn't work for you, what are some of the traits in your collaborators and partners that you do look for?
I want to know, like, what their reason, their why, like, what is their purpose? Like, what type of impact are they looking for? So if money is the first thing, because the money will come, that'll be a turnoff for me. Like, what is your reason? Like, are you doing this because, you know, you're wanting to help or to heal or to teach or to be of service? That's what I look for. There's not enough of that. So if you're looking for something outside of that, then we're not going to mesh well.
I feel that. I think if money is a priority, it shows a lack of experience because in what we do, the money doesn't come in step 1 or step 2 or even step 3. You got to get damn near to step 4 or 5 of 10 before you even start making a little bit of money. And let alone like making a lot of money, that's not till like probably step 7 or 8. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to have somebody that completely understands that we're going to play 1,000 free shows before we like start paying our bills with this, you know? For me as a former music teacher, I think skill is a little less important for myself than dedication and consistency. And here in Nashville, everyone's in 10 bands. So what I look for is someone who's not in 10 different projects at the same time.
I would say, are you gonna get your hands dirty with me when it's time to do the stuff that's not so glamorous? Like when it's time to do the split sheets, when it's time to sit down and go back into the studio and redo these verses because they could sound a lot better. Are you gonna be in the mixing process with me? When it comes to the contract, are you gonna be in negotiations with me? Are you putting any money in getting to where we're trying to get to? Like, what's your skin in the game? Like, those are the things I look for in partners. And on top of that, like, kind of what Dutch was saying, bro, I can't want it more than you want it. Because I want it for me, too. So I can't want it for me and you at the same time. It don't work that way. So, yeah, that would be about it.
One more question for me, and then if anybody else has any. What are you most excited about as it pertains to the future?
I spent the last 10 years building a band that broke up at the end of last year, and basically this entire year is me trying to rebuild that 10-year rocket ship in 1 year. And I just sort of have this like mental insecurity right now where I'm not at I'm not at level 1 until I get myself with where I'm at now caught back up with the progress that took me 10 years. So what I'm excited about is being able to accumulate 10 years of prior success in just this 1 year, which I'm on the way to do, but realistically it's probably going to take like by the end of the year to catch up to that. But that's what to me, I'm not at level 1 until I've caught up with my former success. You know what I mean? Like I want to get farther than what I've ever been before, and right now I'm on one of those like the lower part of the hill where I got to climb back up to pass myself. You know what I mean? So I'm excited just to get back to the surface level, honestly.
Yes. You want me? Okay. So I'm excited just to be, getting back to myself, back into my poetry. I did take a 5-year pause, so that's what I'm super excited about. Queen of Vibes and this EP that is going to be released. Just me doing more of me, focusing more on my purpose, my journey, performing with these amazing live bands that I've had the honor and privilege to perform with, and then also traveling. Like I really see a lot of traveling, different cities, different states, traveling. Like I feel like I'm at this space in my life that I've learned enough personally on my journey. I'm learning more business-wise on my journey that it's time for me to literally step out into the world and own who I say that I am as Jazzy, the Uncontrolled Goddess.
Mine would be, I kind of said this earlier in a different conversation, but mine would be collecting the harvest from all the seeds I've been sowing over the years, man. It's that time. I feel it in the air. I feel it in my spirit. When I'm having these conversations with God, that's what he's telling me it's time for, so that's what we're moving on. Not to mention, I got a kid on the way, so that's my first kid. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So I'm definitely excited about that. And then, of course, again, the work I do with Ether, and then the work with Mobile Melody, and just the fact that, we are at season 3, I got a lot to be excited about, man. You do too, by the way.
Final thoughts.
I'm trying to think. I want a good
Don't
one.
overthink.
Yeah.
Mr. Adams said don't overthink. And you know what? A final thought for creatives, learn yourself. Like, I use the word understanding a lot, because when you've gone through so much in life, and you pause on what God has gifted you with, and you go into dark places, just remember that you are created to create. That is our birthright to do so. And once you continue to do that, you will find your space of understanding.
I think there's no TV show or movie with a hero where there's no villains and there's no problems and there's no part where the hero gets beaten down. And I think that that's really important for anyone who is the hero of their own story, whether you see yourself as a superhero or an artist or anything like that. The trials are what makes the story the story. The villains are what makes Superman so powerful. Spider-Man would just be a dude slinging web if there wasn't any villains destroying the city and running amok. You know what I mean? So it's like, what would your life even be without the problems that you have? You know?
That was hard. That was hard. I mean, to be honest, these two have said it. Said what I feel, you know. So I guess I'll just end it by saying 4 letters, 1 word, yeah.
Thank you all. We're going to close it out. Thank you all for joining us for Have You Met? And now you have met Lord Goldie, Brother Dusty, and Mr. Adams, by the way. All right. Have a great night. Peace. Thank y'all.
Great.
Thank you. Pleasure. Pleasure.
Brother Dusty.
Brother
Yeah,
Dusty.
Oh, thank you, dude. Thank you.
Thank